Hey guys, on this episode we will install a brand new AC compressor clutch because currently the AC is not working, and the story was we're actually on the highway and it just did stop. So instead of blowing cold air, started to blow hot air. And I did check under the hood. At a glance, I noticed that the clutch is no longer engaged. And once we got home, we did a physical inspection and we noticed that the clutch hub is already broken. So definitely that will require a replacement. And since we love the Belta that much, what we have here is original Toyota part. And let me just show the parts to you. This is the magnetic coil. We have a production date in here. It says June 2021. So that's the magnetic coil. And here's the pulley. Looking good. And the last part that we have is the clutch hub. So we have the dents or branding in there, and also production date. So let's go guys and start working on this one. Alright, this is the front right shock, and to gain access on the AC compressor pulley we'll have to take this plastic cover down. On this area we have 2 bolts in here, so one right there and one right here. Then on this area we have a total of 4, one right here, one right there, one right here, and one right there. All bolts are in 10mm. Once you are done on the bolts, to get this plastic cover down, there are 3 clips that you have to remove. One right here, then one right there, and also right here. Alright guys, here's the AC compressor pulley. As you can see, the hub is already broken, so we will have to take this down. Here's the connector for the magnetic coil, and we'll have to remove this. So the connector is the positive, and the screw on the right is the negative connection. We will use a flat screwdriver, so I'll be inserting it this way since the hub is broken anyway. We are now done on the bolt, and our next step will be pulling this off. So for pulling this off, be sure to get all of the washers behind it. For removing the pulley, there is a snap ring in here, so we'll have to remove that. So we'll be needing a circlip remover. The circlip is now removed. We can now loosen the tension of the B-belt to get this pulley off. We'll just have to loosen this 12mm bolt on the alternator. We can now get the pulley. For the magnetic coil, there's another snap ring in there, so we'll have to remove that first. We can now pull the magnetic coil, just like that. Alright guys, everything is now removed, and we will clean this first before installing the new parts. Okay, it's now clean. Before proceeding on the installation of new parts, we will apply a very light amount of high temperature grease. Here's the old and new parts comparison. Alright, here's the magnetic coil, and as you can see we have a guide on it, this one. So this guide should fit on this hole. So there, just like that. Install back the circuit. Apply a very light coat of grease on the bearing as well. Install the snap ring. For the clutch hub, there are 3 washers, and we will insert the slimmest first. So let's check. Be sure that the shaft is clean and free from any foreign objects. I already cleaned the surface for the negative connection, and we are now ready to connect it. The negative is now in place. We can now install the V-belt and tighten the tensioner and torque it with 19 Newton meter. To torque the bolt, we'll need to engage the clutch. So we'll have to connect the positive line of the coil on the positive of the battery. Torque the bolt with 18 Newton meter. We can now connect the positive line. Alright guys, everything is now in place and we are about to start the engine. After the engine started, we will then turn on the AC and let's see if this new clutch will engage. Alright guys, our AC is now back to life and it's now blowing cold air. By the way, for the washers, if you still have the stock washers, you can install the assembly right away. But if not, be sure that the gap between the hub and the pulley is about 0.6 millimeter, and it shouldn't go beyond 0.75 millimeter and lower than 0.45 millimeter. 0.6 millimeter is the best gap based on our experience. So thank you for watching on this episode. I hope you learned something. Stay tuned on our channel and see you next time.